Bonjour les enfants, comment allez-vous? C'est votre classe de français avec Madame Sarah, la quatrième leçon. Quatrième leçon. Ok, alors aujourd'hui nous allons lire notre proverbe ensemble. So let's say the proverb together. L'État, c'est moi. L'État, c'est moi. And it was attributed, this saying was attributed to Louis the 14th. And Louis the 14th was a very spoiled person. He became king at the age of 4. And basically he was very arrogant. So usually this saying is attributed to him, and it's supposed to show that the entire nation is embodied in the person of the king. But obviously it is often used as an example of the arrogance of the monarchy, right? They were very arrogant. He actually was also called the Sun King, as in the sun, right? The Sun King, not the sun as in the son of a person. No, the sun, like the not the planet, but anyways, the sun in the sky. So he thought he was all that and more. So he said, the state, that's me. So basically he is everything. He decides what, how, when, etc., etc. Not a good thing. So, l'état c'est moi is your proverb for this week. Let's go over the vocabulary together. So this vocabulary is fairly simple, lots of good review. David, it's good for you, right? Lots of good review. Number 1 is s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît, which means please, or if it pleases you, really that's that's what it really translates as. If it pleases you, s'il vous plaît, s'il vous plaît. But it just means please now. 2 is merci, merci. Répétez après moi, merci. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Pardon. Pardon. You need to repeat after me so you can hear yourself saying it, okay? Don't just listen to me or it's not going to do you any good. So repeat with me. Pardon. Pardon. All right, which means excuse me when you pass somebody or you hurt someone. Pardon. Okay? De rien means you're welcome. It's nothing. De rien. Number 6, numéro 6, je vous en prie. Very polite way of saying it's okay or you're welcome. Je vous en prie. Then, if let's say somebody sneezes, you really don't say santé anymore, which means health. And also they do use santé, like for instance at New Year when they're having a toast or something, they'll say santé, right, which means health. But here it says response to a sneeze. Really, when you respond to a sneeze, the word is à vos souhaits, to your wishes, or à tes souhaits if it's a person that you know very well and that's close to you. But if it's somebody you don't know, you would use à vos. So this is the one right here. À vos souhaits. So go ahead and write this right beside response to a sneeze. Go ahead and write à vos souhaits or à tes souhaits. So this one, you know, for people your age or people, friends of yours or your families. And this for people you don't know in a more polite way. À vos souhaits. All right? All right, numéro 8, excusez-moi. Excusez-moi, right? When you interrupt somebody and you say, oh, excusez-moi, and you tell them what you want to tell them. Numéro 9, très bien, très bien, very good. Numéro 10, bienvenue, bienvenue, welcome, bienvenue. Numéro 11, oui, oui. Numéro 12, non, non. Numéro 13, désolé or je suis désolé. Je suis désolé. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Désolé. Numéro 14, comment allez-vous? Comment allez-vous? How are you? Polite version or when you talk to a group. Comment allez-vous? And then, comment ça va? The more informal version of that, right? How it's going. You can say that to your friends, to your mom, your dad. Comment ça va? Right? Comment ça va? All right. I want you to look at number 7, santé. I want you to look at number 9, très bien. Number 13, je suis désolé. And number 15, comment ça va? And I want you to notice the accents. So, santé, the accent is on the E and the accent is like this. We say accent aigu. Répète après moi. Accent aigu. Et. All right? Accent aigu. Santé. Or like bébé for baby, right? Bébé, it's E. Then I want you to look at number 9. Très bien. Très bien. Très bien. I'm going to write what that one is called, which is accent grave. Accent grave. So you see, this is E. This is E. E. Notice my mouth. My mouth is close together. E. And this is E. My jaw goes down. E. 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 All right? Accent grave. Go ahead and write that right beside those words. So, accent aigu is at santé, numéro 7. Accent grave is at très bien, numéro 9. And tell me what accent is at numéro 13. Numéro 13, is it accent aigu? You have two accents. Is it accent aigu or accent grave? So write it right beside it. Okay? And I don't know what that was. But that scared me. Okay. All right, so okay. So now look at number 15. Regardez le numéro 15. Comment ça va? And notice the C. The C has what we call une cédille. Une cédille. So I want you to write C, and right beside it, I want you to write cédille. So this is C, cédille, and I'm going to show you. So you write your C, and you do a little, like a mini S right under. Right? And that's called une cédille. Cédille. And une cédille softens the C. So the C doesn't say k. It says s. That's why you have it in français. Français has une cédille to make it say s. And comment ça va as well for numéro 15. Numéro 15. All right, very good. Now, we are going to go over a couple little things. Let's see. So, how is the best way to ask a question in French? How is the best way to ask a question? Well, you can see it for number 14. Comment allez-vous? Aller is a verb and it's in front of the subject. So you invert the subject and the verb, right? You do the verb first and then the subject. So, vous allez, you go. And when you ask the question is, allez-vous? Go you. You see? So this is the way that you do it in French. That is the most common way, right? Although it's coming to a place where now people just say, instead of allez-vous au cinéma, do you go to the movies? Allez-vous au cinéma? They will say, vous allez au cinéma? Vous allez au cinéma? And so they will use the sentence in the affirmative, like you're saying, you go to the theater, you go to the movie theater, but they will put a question mark at the end. So it goes, you go to the movie theater? You're going to the movie theater? You're going to the movie theater? You see, they're not saying, are you going? They're saying, you are going to the movie theater? Vous allez au cinéma? You see? And we talked about this last year with you guys, so I think you remember that. But for Caitlin, that's another way to ask a question. So there's several ways to ask questions. You can do the inversion of the verb first and then the subject. Or you can do the regular sentence, the affirmative sentence, but your voice goes up at the end. And so that transforms it into a question. And that's an easy way to ask a question. Or you could put est-ce que, and then you just say your sentence. Est-ce que vous allez au cinéma? Do you go to the movies? Right? Est-ce que? So est-ce que is easy. You just put that in front of the sentence you want to say, and it transforms it into a question. Est-ce que? All right, very good. So now that we've talked a little bit about this, let's just go on to grammaire. So I want you to go to where it says grammaire, and we're going to study these two verbs. Now, most of you know the verb être, and maybe a little bit aller, but we're going to review them. So verb être, let's say it together. You ready? Je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. All right, Caitlin, I want you to write under je, I want you to write what that means. Under tu, I want you to write what that means. Under il, I want you to write what it means. Under elle, what it means. Under nous, what it means. Vous, under il with an S and elle with an S, what it means as well. Okay, so I want you to really grasp this, that what those pronouns mean. All right, very good. Let's say it together, everybody else. Je suis, tu es, il, elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. So I'm not going to say elle when we say it so that we can learn to say it fast together. Okay, ready? Je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. Je suis, tu es, il est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. Very good. Okay, now let's go to aller, which means to go, but it doesn't just mean to go. Aller is one of those verbs that is kind of difficult to look up in the dictionary because it changes from one sentence to another. So you just have to learn. By itself, it means to go. So if you say je vais au cinéma, it means I go to the movies. But if you say je vais dormir, so you add another verb after aller, right? Je vais dormir. If you do that, then it changes the sense. Now you're saying, I'm going to bed. I'm going to go sleep. All right? Je vais dormir. I'm going to sleep. So it's a one way to express the near future. Okay? So that's one way to explain the future. Also, if you notice on number 15 in your vocabulary, comment ça va or comment allez-vous, right here you have the verb aller and it just means how are you? So it doesn't mean going. Kind of, you say how's it going, right? So right there you're using going. Okay, but it doesn't mean going as in going, it just means how are you doing? So if you answer I'm doing fine, je vais bien, je vais bien. So see here, you're also using aller. Or elle va bien, she's doing fine. Elle va bien, so you're using aller. You need to memorize être et aller. You need to just know them by heart, know how to write them, okay? Because you will use them all the time. In French, those three ones are the basics. And they're irregular. Irregular. That means you cannot just conjugate them a certain way. The three of them are very different, one from the other. So you just need to know them by heart. So I suggested to the class last year to get some little 4x6 cards and start writing your verbs. And you just learn your verbs. You repeat your verbs. Every day, repeat your verbs in French. Okay? And that way you can have your verbs all together. So that's what I want you to do. Grab some little 4x6 cards and go ahead and write your verbs. If you don't have 4x6 cards, ask your mom to take you to the store. It's very cheap at Walmart and you can get some cards, okay? But go ahead and do that. That's gonna help you tremendously. If you've already done it last year, do it again because it won't hurt you. And so make sure you write your verb to be, être, your verb aller, and let's say it together. Je vais, tu vas, il va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont. Je vais, tu vas, il va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont. Je vais, tu vas, il va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont. Good. All right, and also I want you to go ahead and do your verb to have, which you learned in the previous lesson. To have, right? J'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. This is V. I messed up. J'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. J'ai, not je. J'ai, not je. It's j'ai. J'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont. Now this is different than this one, ils sont. Notice my S is S, ils sont. And for verbe avoir is ils ont. Because right here, this is what we call liaison. Hold on. This is what's called une liaison between the S and the O that starts with a vowel, and that is pronounced as in a Z. So the S is not pronounced as in a S, but Z. So it's ils ont. Ils ont. All right? So I want you to go ahead and on your card write the verb avoir, to have. We reviewed that a couple of lessons ago. All right, very good. Let's go over the dialogue. Salut Jean, comment ça va? Ça va bien et toi? Très bien. Bonjour madame, comment allez-vous? Très bien, merci. Et vous? Je vais très bien. All right, so this is a little dialogue about just saying hello, how are you doing? Very good. And you? I'm doing very well. All right, so practice saying that little dialogue a couple times to yourself and then say that loud a couple times as well. All right, so your work for this week, you have to do the translation of these sentences and you have to conjugate the verb être. Possessive adjectives always agree with the noun they modify in what? So the possessive adjectives always agree with the noun they modify in gender and number, right? So if you say son chien, son, there's only one dog, right? And so and chien is masculine. So we're going to use son because it's masculine and it's singular. But if it was his dogs, it would be ses chiens, S-E-S, and then chien, right? So it changes. Possessive adjectives always agree with the noun they modify in number and gender. Give an example of a singular and a plural possessive adjective noun combination. So, just like we just did with son chien, ses chiens, you have to give an example of a singular one and a plural one and how it changes. It can be theirs, it can be mine or my dog, my dogs. It can be my shirt, right? Or my shirts. So you decide, but you give an example of a singular and a plural possessive adjective and noun combination. Okay? All right. Okay, so I do want you to write your 3 verbs on a 4x6 cards, each verb on one card, then the next card, the second verb, then the next card, the third verb. And then I want you to also send me a video of you saying those 3 verbs without looking. So you need to know them by heart. So by next Friday, or by this Friday, I want you to have sent me that video. Okay? So that's your work on top of filling up this page. So this is your lesson for today. I hope that you are having a wonderful week. Et nous verrons la semaine prochaine. À bientôt les enfants. Au revoir.